we get neighbors helping neighbors.
Community faith partners came out of the prayer.
People who, no matter what happens, we just keep showing people the love of Christ.
The goal was to begin to build a relationship.
See, most people forget about people that go to prison. And, they're forgotten people. Like a lot of the people down here, the homeless, the jungle, they're forgotten. They choose to live there, they choose to commit a crime, they went to prison. Well, when you read the Bible, Luke says, you're supposed to be a gospel laborer. And you're not supposed to forget about the people in the jungle or prison.
Jesus invites us to come and follow him. And if you look at his life, he went out into the highways and byways and met the people. And I meet so many Christians who are just frustrated with, I've got this life that consumes my time and I don't know where to enter into something.
The goal was to begin to build relationship among people from different churches, and that out of that, the relational connectivity would begin to expand. Because as people got to know one another, other people could kind of be grafted in. The faith community, the Christian faith community, is number one, it's not monolithic. There's a lot of diversity within that group, and that people really need to begin to do some things relationally.
Yeah, just to get together with some folks from other fellowships. I've always been a proponent of prayer, and so we had some really good prayer back in the day when we first started. And after, first few months or so, someone suggested breakfast at Lincoln Street Diner. And so that was always a draw.
You were talking that Jesus stuff. And I was like, really? You trying to, you really believe in that crap I told you? And it kind of caught you off guard, but man, you got me. Your message got me.
Well,
and I could never even explain it, but
it's God's message, really, but
okay, but he used you to get me. My hostility didn't make him even blink an eye. And I was a scary guy at that time. Greg's story, how he became a Christian, how he, no matter what obstacles are in his life, he was able to, what do you call that word, overcome them, and remain, solid in his foundation and belief in Jesus.
I was working on a paper for a community development class, I believe, and we had to do a tangible project in the course of it. So I proposed to Jim Crawford that we have a day. The day we wound up doing was the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and it was the way we conceived of it originally was to provide an alternative thing to do to shopping, and people could come and serve their neighbor.
But it was always so amazing at the talents and skills that different people from the community brought to those care days. And it was just incredible to see it. It was wonderful.
There was around 4 work sites. I think I traveled to several of them. I remember a woman who we helped, she's disabled and she's being supported by it might have even been a Racker Center support system where she was a thing collector. In her house, she was getting stuffed out of parts of her house. So we did cleaning there, and both inside and in the backyard, to help her to be able to stay there. There was another elderly sick woman that we did clean up in her yard. After that, we realized that there was both a need in the community and there were people out there who really wanted to participate in that way. And that's been a good thing ever since, I think.
Joe has often talked about holistic hardware as tools that would help bring lives out of crisis into wholeness. Holistic hardware took such root that it was clear that it needed to be consistent in its offerings, and so we moved it around in the community in the interest of making sure that it was communally available downtown. That became one of the I don't want to call it flagship programs or initiatives of CFP, but it was certainly one of the ones that was developed and gained some immediate and lasting traction, began to show immediate benefits of viability and effectiveness. And so there was a significant investment of time, of energy, and I guess in resources of doing holistic hardware. And Joe talked about holistic hardware as these tools as a toolbox. And so if you're going to rebuild a broken life, you need tools. If you're going to go out and build a shed, you need tools. If you're going to go out and build a doghouse, you need tools. So if you're going to rebuild a broken life, you need some tools.
So many people whose lives have kind of fallen apart are people who, chaos characterizes their lives. And I think of a lot of different things as kind of like driving a stake in the sand. Are the tools perfect? No, but they're decent, they're good, they're useful. And so when you take a tool and you give somebody, I'll try to be faithful with this thing. It gives them a way to practice faithfulness that's concrete. It may not work for them in the end, but even the imagination that faithfulness of doing the same thing day in and day out can make a difference in the chaos of your life.
The people who complete this class, recidivism rates for them are lower than people who come to some of the other things that are being offered in terms of programming.
I'd been visiting people in jail a long time. Mike wasn't the first difficult person I'd met.
I was always under the impression, like I used to tell you, I'm probably going to burn in hell, no doubt about it, because that's the way God is, He ain't going to ever forgive me. And as you know, He forgave David, He forgave Moses, He forgave Paul. So, I was always thinking my sins were so magnified that they weren't, I wasn't worthy to be a Christian.
But I think the thing that helps the most is when people get out of jail, if they will actually spend time with you, you can stop just talking about the love of Christ and actually show it to them. And I think when Mike got out, he had nowhere to go, and we got him into Second Wind, and we got him food, we got him clothing. And fortunately for Mike, he ran into Carmen and me and Sarah, people who, no matter what happens, we just keep showing people the love of Christ.
It was funny how when you told me to read the Bible, but not as a book this time, but to read the Bible. Well, I still read it as a book, but as I discovered it as a book, is that, without criminals, we probably wouldn't have that much of a Bible.
It's not enough to show up at Care Day once a year or twice a year and then feel good about I've been serving my community.
You have to keep trying because you never know when they're going to encounter God.
The church, in my view, has a moral responsibility to lead by example.